Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is a sad story about the life of Jesus. Heard uh, quite a successful man that I see on YouTube Lives share that he went to a billionaire's house and he flew in to see him. He flew in an aeroplane to come and meet with this guy. He was told a number of times that the guy could only give him half an hour of his time. And he was told multiple times before he met with the guy, he got in there and 30 minutes had passed and he kept on speaking to him and ended up being there for about 6 hours. And as he left, he walked out of the room and asked the secretary what went on because he'd been told multiple times that he could only have 30 minutes with this rich man, but he'd been in there for 6 hours and he doesn't understand. And the woman said, well, most people that meet with him within the first 20 minutes, they ask him for money. And you mustn't have asked him for money in the whole 5 hours. And he has very few people come and see him that honestly just want to see him and not ask him for something. And so he must have really enjoyed your company. And I was reflecting on that today in bed as I was talking to Jesus, and he reminded me of that story. And he said, it's the same with me, Matthew. It's very rare that someone comes to me that doesn't want something from me. Uh, he said people worship me because they want something from it. People pray to me because they want something from me. Even people in ministry want to be successful in ministry. There's very few people who actually just want to love me for me. There's very few people in the world who actually know me. There's only a small percentage of people in the world who have taken the time to understand my 54 parables and my 50 commandments, and not only understand them, but make the effort to obey them and walk in them. And it says in John 14:21, he who loves me will know my commandments and obey them, and I will love them, and my Father will love them, and I will manifest myself to them. And through the course of your life over the last 20 years, Matthew, you've come to know me, you've come to understand me, and you've come to love me for who I am. And together, as you've written 120 books, we've co-labored together, we've worked together, and you've become closer and closer to me. But there's very few Christians on the face of the earth who truly love me for me, for just me. Who there's billions of Christians who know about me, just as there's millions of Christians in America that know about Donald Trump, but very few Christians in America, not even the Christian prophets in America who are the Trump prophets, know Donald Trump personally and know all about him and know the intricate details. So in heaven, I'm well known, but on earth, I'm very little known. And in heaven, I've got to be Mr. Happy and cheer people up and keep people happy. And there's very few people in heaven that I interact with, that I can share my frustration and my depression and my anger and my disappointment and my overwhelming sadness about what's going on with the world and the state of the world. So um, there's very few people on earth who have got really any interest in getting to know me. They have an interest in their Christian life. They have an interest in their money. They've got an interest in their possessions. They've got an interest in their status, but very few Christians have got an interest in my heart, in understanding me, in knowing me. You asked me years ago why so many people can't hear from me, and I answered that they didn't want to hear from me because they were afraid that if they heard from me, they'd have to do something that they don't want to do. And you asked my father about a month ago, why haven't people taken the time to understand Jesus' parables and his commandments? Why don't they take an interest? And my father said to you that they've got no interest in Jesus' teaching or understanding Jesus' teaching because they're afraid that if they find out what his parables mean, that they'd actually have to change their life and do something. So it's a very small portion of the actual preachers in America that preach the narrow way, that teach on the 54 parables of Jesus and the 50 commandments of Jesus and my commandments. And there's very few people being taught what I taught, and there's a popular false doctrine, a popular heresy in the world called the finished works of Christ doctrine, and they believe when I said on the cross it is finished, that it was finished, that you don't have to do any more work, and that's a total heresy that I've been working in the early church. I've been working for 2,000 years in the lives of Christians. I'm continually working. I'm continually busy. I'm the most active servant in heaven, and I'm still a servant to humanity. But people have no understanding of me. People have no recollection. People have no capacity to understand that I'm very angry with the state of the world. I'm very depressed with the state of the world. I sort of wring my hands through my hair in frustration with the false teaching in the church and the false doctrines in the church and the commandments of men and the man's doctrines and doctrines of demons that flow through the church, and the general disinterest in truly serving me and truly teaching the truth. I'm fascinated with you, Matthew, in the way that you have absolutely no interest in money. I've got no interest, and we've had to actually work on you to have you save the money for a new computer. So in the next year or two, when your computer breaks down, for you to have money set aside for that. We know that you have absolutely no interest in the things of the world and the possessions of the world and the things that interest the world and fascinate the world. The world has nothing in you, and you even spent 160 to 180,000 Australian dollars publishing books, and this month is the first month where you've stopped writing one book a month, and you were doing that for 7 years, and now the downloads of your books this month have tanked, and it seems that you produced a message that hardly anyone is seeing, and it just gives you an idea of my own frustration that I've had my parables in Bibles for hundreds of years. I've had my commandments in Bibles for hundreds of years, and people just don't teach them. People just don't walk in them. And there's some beautiful people, and the world the church has some beautiful Christians, but very few of them know me. Very few of them would understand that I'm frustrated. Not many would understand that I get depressed. Not many people would have any understanding that I'm very angry with the world. People can't even discern the truth anymore. People can't even discern when a prophet is speaking under the influence of Jezebel or a lying spirit. They've got no understanding. And what is the most popular prophets in America are deceiving people and speaking on behalf of demons and other spirits. And I'm just so upset with the world. What should I do? What can I do? So many ministries are busy serving themselves and making a name for their ministry. And um, there's ministries you could send this word to, you could send this video to and say, broadcast this on your ministry, and they wouldn't do it because of their reputation. They wouldn't do it because what is said, 90% of people are listening to this video aren't even listening to this video anymore, and 90% of the people that started this video aren't even listening anymore. And um, the people of God just aren't listening to me. They didn't listen when the word of God was printed. They don't listen in church. They don't listen to me. And I'm just tired. I'm worn out. And my father is very angry with the Trump prophets and very upset with them. And there's a great judgment coming in their life. And so, Scripture says, not many of you become teachers because there'll be a stricter judgment, and we're really upset and really tired and really worn out. And what can we do? Well, you're in a position of friend with us now, Matthew, and you're like in a position of Moses, and we're asking you, what should we do? We can't wipe out the world. Prophecy says that the world's going to endure. It's not going to be destroyed again until the last days. So what can we do? How can we change? There's enough teachers. There's enough preachers. How do we get our message through? How do we get the message of the narrow gate? How do we get people to teach the narrow way? How do I get people to start to investigate the 54 parables of Jesus and start to walk in them? How do I get people to walk in the 50 commandments that I shared? And how do I get people to transform their lives so they're imitating me, so they're becoming me, as they're manifesting my Christos, the very essence of Jesus? How do I get my people to love? How do I stop them from fighting? How do I stop the divisions and the factions and the one-upmanship and the competition and the outrageous apostolic networks who charge and have only open doors to money and only open doors to influence. How do I eradicate the doctrines of demons or the theology that there's no gifts of the Spirit anymore? There's no prophets, there's no apostles. My church is a mess. And what do I do? Who do I discuss this with? Who do I bring a message through? You're no one. You're someone who hasn't got good influence. You've been called to be my friend and to stand by me and listen to me. How do I get this message out? What do I say? How can I change this world? Would it be possible that even Jesus, the incarnate Messiah, would come to a modern day prophet in Australia? Is it possible that only 50 people in the world would actually hear this? Is it possible that I could speak through a prophet on earth and very few people actually hear the message? This is a sad and depressing and unfortunate message from Jesus. I pray that you heard the essence of what Jesus had to say there. If you like this video, like it. If you want to share it, please share it. And if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing. God bless.